Today, I am discussing on eco-justice principles. Before that, I would like to say something about my work course. I started my career as a lecturer in chemistry at Bishop Moore College, Mavelikara, affiliated to University of Kerala in 1978. My attitude and approach to chemistry took a new turn when I visited Minamata in Japan in 1989. There I saw people suffering from Minamata disease and heard the sad story of their struggle for life. This is a Minamata victim in the photograph. This is a 35-year-old youth with Minamata. He's a Minamata victim. There were the victims of organic mercury poisoning. People with Minamata diseases are still living in Minamata Rehabilitation Center as living martyrs. With tears only, we can hear it when the mothers of Minamata victims explain the sad fate of their children. Minamata disease is due to organic mercury pollution. First time, the name of the place known as the name of the disease. This is the first water pollution reported in the world. Second one reported is cadmium thrown out of a factory as a waste into Jinsu River in Japan, entered into the food chain and became harmful to the people, and the disease is known as Ithai disease, that is affecting the bones. From the exposures I had, I am convinced that only a person having a chemistry background can interpret and interfere effectively to save nature. I was really encouraged to read, study, and do research on environmental issues. For a systematic study, I enrolled as a research scholar in the University of Kerala, and I got my doctorate for my thesis on river pollution. I was a research guide for 4 students for PhD. I understood that Christian faith has a significant part to play in the environmental debate and social action. With the support of Catholic and non-Catholic bishops, I initiated the Green Church campaign in India in 1990s. Later, CSI Synod nominated me as a member of Ecological Committee of CSI Synod. I became the convener of the Synod Ecological Committee. I could give leadership in publishing 20 books in eco-theology. While I was the convener of the CSI Synod, UNDP recognized eco-contributions of CSI with an award. After my retirement as the principal of Bishop Moore College in 2011, CSI Synod appointed me as the director of the ecological concerns. I am doing this work because of my passion for ecological concerns. Hence, I am not taking any money as salary from CSI Synod. I am serving CSI as the honorary director because of my passion for ecology. So before starting my class, I would like to ask some questions. You know, when teachers coming into the class, they will start asking questions. I hope this is the question number 1. Why don't we eat bull's eye egg of ducks? You know, we used to eat egg of chickens in bullseye, omelette, roast, and in any form we can eat. But we won't eat the duck's egg in the form of bullseye. If you have answer, you can say. Okay. The second question, why the color of the motor tires black? why the color of the motor turns black? Answer. The third question, why big cities do not prefer mercury vapor lamp? They use sodium vapor lamp. This is a big city where they are using sodium vapor lamp. In villages, they use mercury vapor lamp. There is clear reason for that. Question number 4. Why dogs put out their tongues when they are running? Question number 5. Elephants prefer shade. Why? Question number 6. What is the reason for the holes in dosha? Question number 7. Coliform bacteria is in our stomach. It is a useful bacteria, but it is harmful bacteria outside. You are asking me why. I am also asking why. The answer is here. In 17th century, there was a man, while he was sitting under a tree, he noticed that an apple is coming down. He observed that and asked the question, why this apple is not going up? Then he found the answer for that. His name is
Isaac Newton.
Isaac Newton. Very good. So why we are not answering the questions which I asked you now? You never observed it. You never asked it. There is a problem. There is something wrong with us. The teachers are asking students to mug up everything. So who is a best student? A best student always reproduces everything in the next class, like a tape recorder. So we are not asking questions. That is one of the weakness of our education. This is another thing which I will tell you the answer. In one of the colleges of Kerala, one teacher and 20 students cultivated spinach. This is a photograph I have taken from the website. They cultivated spinach, and the next day the lecturer asked the students, 20 students, you have to bring cow's urine tomorrow. Immediately the students said, there's no problem, we will bring cow's milk. Cow's milk is a good insecticide and also a good fertilizer. So the students agreed and they went home, and all the students took a big vessel and sat near the cow to collect the urine. Unfortunately, 19 students didn't get the urine of cow. One student got the urine. He brought it, and the lecturer asked him, how did you get this urine? The boy told him, sir, every day morning, I used to see my mother will clean the body of the cow by water. When she pours water over the cow, immediately the cow urinates. Then I collected the urine. This boy noticed or observed when the cow urinates. but others didn't. So my point is, we have to study by observing nature. If you observe nature carefully, you will get lot of questions will come. Then you will try to find the answer for that. You know, there is a relation between Nobel Prize and India. After C.V. Raman got Nobel Prize. After C.V. Raman, nobody in India got Nobel Prize. 88 years before, after 88 years, some Indians got Nobel Prize, but they did research in foreign countries. United Kingdom produced 130 Nobel laureates so far, less the population than the state of Tamil Nadu. We are importing weapons from Israel, having a population of 87 lakhs. We brought 36 Rafale fighter planes, spending rupees 58,000 crores from France. The population is only 7 crores. In India, 135 crores people, third in number of science and technology people. For defense research, 50 DRDO labs. The methodology of teaching. I am quoting from the Bible. First point, do not give answers to all questions. Bible says, Luke chapter 11:9, seek and you will find. Knock, it will be open to you. The second point, ask students to observe things. I am quoting from Bible, Mathew chapter 6, verses 26 to 34. Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin. Number 3, encourage students to ask questions. I am again quoting Bible, Mark chapter 8, verse 27. Jesus consistently used questions to produce change and growth. CSI introduced a program called Green School Program. In Green School Program, we are asking students to find answers by doing. In Green School Program, students observe things and asking questions and finding answers. Through Green School Program, introducing a new methodology in teaching. Teaching and studying will become more interesting. Students will love their teachers. What is the moral of this picture? Can you say? I'm giving to the asking students. The father is reading, the child is also reading. Any answer? How did you convince your child to read instead of playing with smart devices? Children don't hear us, they imitate us. If you want to say something, if you want your child to do something, you have to do it. In the CSI Synod level, we started an ecological committee in 1992. Later, CSI incorporated ecological concerns in the constitution of CSI. CSI is the only church in India which mentioned ecology as a mission in the constitution. Church of South India recognizes that God's mission has various dimensions. The constitution of CSI clearly specifies that the mission of the church, one, proclamation of gospel, nurturing of the people of God, service, establish justice in society, stewardship of creation. Why is CSI involved in environmental protection when so many environmental groups are in the world? Environmental conservation is a part of our faith. So from the Bible, we are going to study something. We have to reread Bible on the basis of eco-justice principles. There are 6 eco-justice principles. If you study that principles, you will get more ideas. When I was, the first principle is the principle of intrinsic worth. God created each and everything with an intrinsic worth. God never created something useless. He created everything with a value. So in other words, we can say there is no fool in this world. All people are having some intrinsic value. All animals have some intrinsic value. When I was delivering a lecture in a school, one boy told me a story. Sir, you said that all creatures in this world have an intrinsic worth. What is the value of a grass? My father cleared the grass on the ground. Then, after 1 week, again the grass came up. My father again cleared the grass. After 1 week, again it came up. My father told me the grass is a nuisance. So, what is the value? What is the intrinsic worth of a grass? You can see the plot number 1. In the plot number 1, there is no grass. When sun rays falls on this land, the heat of the heat will be transferred to the land. So the land will become hotter. When the land becomes dry, all the moisture in the land will be evaporated. When the moisture completely leaves the land, the microorganisms in the land will disappear. You know, a land is fertile only when there is water and microbes like bacteria, amoeba, and other things. A fertile land, there will be water, there will be microbes. So when this first plot will become a desert soon. The second plot, it is covered with grass. When sunlight falls on the grass, immediately the light energy of the sunlight will be transferred to the grass. The grass will take it up and use it for photosynthesis, and it will prepare its food, and carbohydrates will be produced. This carbohydrates will be used as a food for animals. Human beings, the best source of energy in the world is sun's energy. We cannot take sun's energy directly, but through the plants and vegetables, we can take up sun's energy. Sun is the major source of energy in this earth. Then another boy asked me another question. Sir, why God created these wild animals? Why God created these poisonous animals? Because they are a threat to the human beings. God has provided an ecosystem suitable for each. For poisonous animals, God allotted Shola forest. Man entered the ecosystem of poisonous animals. Hence, they are now coming to plains. We fail to understand the intrinsic value of each components and the ecosystem surrounding it. So the tiger is a wonderful creation of God. It has an intrinsic value. It is expected to live in the forest, but human being destroyed the forest. That is why it became a threat to human being. The snake, it is also expected to live on the forest. Its habitat is shola forest. Man destroyed the forest, that's why it is coming to the plains. The second principle is God created each and everything with a purpose. God created animals, plants, human beings with a purpose. I hope you have seen mangroves. This is the photo of mangroves. This is growing normally on the seashores. It is a plant growing in coastal areas. Most of the people considered it as useless, as it has no economic value. So what did they do? They removed the plants and constructed resorts in coastal areas. In 2004, there was a big tsunami in Indian Ocean with its epicenter west of Indonesia. It killed 230,000 people across 14 countries. Interestingly, among the 14 countries, 2 places were not affected by tsunami. One place is in Tamil Nadu. Its name of the place is Pichavaram. Another place is an island in Indonesia. Mangroves have a role in protecting the land from sea storms. These plants grow abundantly in coastal areas. Mangroves act as a seawall to protect the land from the attack of sea. So we could not understand the intrinsic value and the purpose of mangroves. That is why we destroyed mangroves. Mangroves are God's wonderful creation. It has a role in sustaining life. So we could not understand that. So that is why we removed the mangroves. From the economic point of view, mangroves are useless plants. But from the ecological point of view, it is an important plant with many uses. Frogs are important indicator of ecosystem. Frogs are also friends of farmers. Frogs feed on many insects and pests that frequently destroy the crops. Also, they are consumed by fish, some large insects, snakes, lizards, larger frogs, birds, and small mammals. In the food chain, frogs play a big role in maintaining healthy environment. Many of the human activities are unhealthy to frogs and their habitats. We drain the wetlands to claim land for cultivation, housing, and tourist resorts, thereby causing habitat destruction. So the number of frogs are decreasing. That is why the number of insects are increasing. The third principle is the principle of interconnectedness. All components in the earth are mutually interconnected or dependent on each other for life and survival. Man is not alone. We share this earth with 80 million other species. The relationship between these species is connected in a complex web of interaction. I heard some people say, I don't want the support of anybody. I can live alone. I have enough money. This is not a correct way. We cannot live without butterflies because we are interconnected with butterflies. You may ask, well, how? As butterflies and honeybees, they are conducting the pollination. Because of pollination, the seeds are formed. That is why we are getting rice, wheat, and other things. We are getting food because of the pollination done by with the help of butterflies. So we are indebted to butterflies and honeybees. Because if it is not there, we will not get food for eating. Another example is from Borneo. In 1950s, in order to fight against malaria, the government sprayed DDT in all the houses in Borneo. So, the lizards are moving on the walls. When in order to kill mosquitoes, they spray DDT all over the houses. So what happened is lizards were poisoned and they fall on the ground. In the cat which was moving, they ate all the poisoned lizards. So what happened? When they took poisoned lizards, all the cats died. Along with mosquitoes, cats, lizards were also destroyed. Once there was no cats in Borneo, consequently, the rats multiplied and destroyed the foodstuff. Eventually, they had to charter 2 aeroplanes of cats from Australia to solve the problem. From the ecological point of view, cats and all other animals have an important role in the ecosystem. Extinction of any animal will invariably enhance the abnormal multiplication of another animal. Another example is from China. Chinese used to see large flocks of sparrows visiting the paddy fields frequently. The farmers began to fear that this would affect their harvest. So they killed all the sparrows. Now they felt that the paddy production would increase. As suspected, it increased in the next year. But in the third year, they found that the paddy was affected by pests. Like other birds, sparrows are ecologically significant birds. The sparrow used to catch the worms found on these plants. When the plants flower, it was the sparrows who used to protect them from other worms, which would destroy the plants. Another example is a plant living in ocean, which got high significance on the background of climate change. Seagrass is the most threatened ecosystem on the earth. Seagrass is a flowering marine plant sheltered along the coastlines. It has a range of benefits. Seagrass acts as a nursery for a wide variety of marine life, provides a home for many fish and charismatic animals, protects coastlines by absorbing wave energy, produces oxygen and cleans the ocean by soaking up polluting nutrients produced on land by humans. Seagrass accounts for 10% of ocean's capacity to store carbons. Seagrass can capture carbon up to 35 times faster than tropical rainforests. So far, we have understood that the best capture of carbon is through forests. Now the concept change. The ocean, especially the seagrass, can capture carbon 35 times faster than forests. So all plants, all the animals in this universe are a part of the web of life. God created everything in the universe with an intrinsic value and with a purpose. Nothing in the universe is neither waste nor useless. Extinction of any species will spoil the harmony of life in this universe. The fourth principle is the principle of voice. Earth is a subject capable of raising its voice in celebration and against injustice. When I address students in schools, normally I will ask them, what is your ambition in life? So normally students say, I want to become a doctor, I want to become a teacher, I want to become an IAS officer, I want to become a nurse, I want, like that it will go. In one school, when I was addressing, one student told me that he wants to become a veterinary surgeon. That is an unusual answer. Then I approached him, my dear student, why you want to become a veterinary surgeon? The boy said, sir, we need not fear cases against the doctor because we can give any medicine we like. They will not file a case against us and they will take any medicines we give. That shows our attitude towards animals. We consider like that we can do anything towards animals. That's a wrong concept. We had an eco-Lent meditation in Kodaikanal in 2018. After 3 days of deliberations and meditations, the clergy assembled for campfire in front of Kenley Bungalow, Kodaikanal. An announcement came from the caretaker. Don't stand in front of the bungalow. A group of bisons are on the campus in an angry mood. All the clergy rushed into the bungalow, fearing the bison. The group of bisons were standing in front of the bungalow. Everything came to a standstill. The caretaker burst crackers to send them away. Normally, when they burst crackers, it will return to the forest. But this time, they remained there, in spite of the noise of the crackers. We cancelled our campfire and went to bed. The next morning, when we opened the door, they were still standing there to meet us. The bison generally attack human beings if anybody disturbed their movement. The group of bisons looked at the clergy as though trying to communicate something. The 3 days meditations on God's creations enabled us to read their mind. This is an imaginative part. You are talking about groaning creations. You have to understand how justice has been denied to us by you people. Kodaikanal means the gift of the forest. It was a thick shora forest till 1845. The American Christian missionaries and British bureaucrats entered this forest in 1845 to escape from the high temperatures and tropical diseases of the plains. In 20th century, a few elite Indians came to realize the value of this enchanting hill station and started relocating here. They destroyed indigenous plants and planted exotic plants like eucalyptus and acacia. Now it is a concrete jungle where our movements and food are restricted. You people have invaded our land, which God has allotted to us. You destroyed our habitat and our climate. So how can you preach eco-justice in my habitat when my species are struggling for existence? Dear clergy, we are an endangered species. We have been listed as vulnerable on the IUCN Red List since 1986. Kindly allow us to live in our land. When you occupy our land, deny food and shelter, we may be forced to come to your living space. Without any compassion, you call us wild animals and kill us. Have mercy on us. Silence reigned for a while. After 12 hours of passive silent satyagraha in front of the Kenley bungalow, the group of bisons left the campus. When we turned into the Bible, after Job has been allowed to suffer terribly and then received visits from his friends whose words were of little comfort, God finally answered Job out of the whirlwind. God does not call on Job to repent, but instead gives a wonderful account of many aspects of both the physical and biological sides of the creation. The descriptions of animal behavior and of the wonders of the heavens did lead Job to repentance. Bison opened our eyes of the participants to understand the message of God during the equivalent meditation. You know, the roses are having thorns. Why roses are having thorns? That is, they want to protect from the enemies. Roses are beautiful flowers. So they have, it is for their self-protection. So there is a professor from Honorary University used to play violin in front of the roses in his garden, rose garden. He was playing violin for 6 months. After 6 months, he noticed that the roses shed away the thorns. The conclusion is, there is a professor who is caring, loving us, and we do not fear any enemies. We should not fear any enemies. So if you love a rose, care a rose, it will shed the thorns. Then the fifth principle is the principle of mutual care. If you love an animal, it will respond. Even if it is a wild animal, it will respond positively. So if you care other living creatures, it will respond positively to us. There was a man called Lawrence Anthony. His name is Elephant Whisper. On March 7, 2012, Lawrence Anthony died. 2 days after his passing, the wild elephant showed up at his home, led by 2 large herds. Separate wild herds arrived in droves to say goodbye to their beloved man friend, Lawrence Anthony. A total of 31 elephants had patiently walked over 12 miles to get to his South African house. Witnessing this spectacle, humans were obviously in awe, not only because of the supreme intelligence and precise timing that these elephants sensed about Lawrence's passing, but also because of the profound memory and emotion the beloved animals evoked in such an organized way, walking slowly for days, making their way in a solemn one-by-one queue from their habitat to his house. Lawrence's wife, Francois, was especially touched, knowing that the elephants had not been to his house prior to that day for well over 3 years, but yet they knew where they were going. Elephants obviously wanted to pay their deep respects, honoring their friend who had saved their lives. So much respect that they stayed for 2 days, 2 nights without eating anything. For 2 days, the herds loitered at Antony's rural compound in the vast Tula Tula Game Reserve in South Africa to say goodbye to the men they loved. The one morning, they left, making their long journey back home. I am going to show you the video of that. something in the universe is greater and deeper than human intelligence. To God be the glory. Great things he has done. The sixth principle is earth will protest against the increased pressure on the land, in the landscape and natural resources. Commercial tourism focuses only on the conveniences, comforts, and the luxury of the tourist. In order to make tourist places attractive, they alter the landscape, natural settings. We have to understand that earth will protest against this injustice. Deforestation leads to landslides. Uttarakhand is a fine example of extreme floods due to deforestation. Commercial activities are one of the main reasons for the natural calamities. These are the photographs of 2018 floods in Kerala. Water, like human rights, water has a right to flow. We people constructed roads obstructing the flow of water. So we are obstructed the right of the water to flow. We constructed roads. So the water resisted by breaking the road. Tragedy only because of deforestation. In 1998, Yangtze River Basin, China suffered worst flooding. This is a flood of Uttarakhand. I would like to give some more tips. So one of the main problems now is fossil fuels. So in order to avoid fossil fuels, we are requesting all of you to use biogas plant for waste treatment. This is one of the biogas which we have given to some people. For preparing food, in order to save energy, use pressure cooker. You know this is called frying pan, non-stick vessels. One of the disadvantages of this non-stick vessel is the upper part, there is a coating of organochlorofluorides. That's a thin film of organofluoro compounds. This is a cancer-causing substance. So now we discourage people not to use this type of non-stick pans. Now we are getting dried fish from some big companies. They are spraying sodium nitrate on the fish in order to increase the shelf life. When you spray sodium nitrate, the shelf life will increase, and it will look like a fresh fish for 1 year. So the sodium nitrate will react with the amines in the flesh, and it will form a compound called nitrosamine, which is a cancer-causing substance. We know this is, if you want to eat tasty food, you have to add Ajinomoto to that. Ajinomoto is a taste enhancing substance. If you add Ajinomoto to fish, chicken, or any item, it will enhance the taste of the food. But one doctor in USA was regularly taking food with Ajinomoto, and he had a disease called Chinese restaurant syndrome. back pain and other things. So the doctors found that those who are taking food regularly from Chinese restaurant are having this problem. So the name of the disease is known as Chinese restaurant syndrome. That is because of the Ajinomoto in our body. We are against all types of pesticides, especially organochlorpesticides. Organochlorpesticides, the half-life of the pesticides are 2 to 15 years. In water, it is 150 years. So we request all people to avoid organochlorpesticides. You may ask a question, suggest names of some organochlorine pesticides. It is written here: aldrin, BSC, chlordane, DDT, dicophos. These are the organochlorine pesticides. We should not use it. In Kasargod, there is a place called where there sprayed endosulfan. This boy is a cancer patient, is a victim of endosulfan poisoning. This is also endosulfan poisoning. It's a skin disease. The finger deformities, this is also endosulfan poisoning. Endosulfan poisoning in Kasaragod. Deformed hands, knees, and feet. Endosulfan poisoning. I would like to introduce another man called Masanobu Fukuoka. His farming is known as Fukuoka farming. Normally, in quiz competitions, there will be a quiz question like this: who wrote the book One Straw Revolution? This is a very interesting book. You should read the book if you get it. It is available all over India. It is translated to many languages. Its name is One Straw Revolution. That is a new way of farming, natural farming. The farming is known as Masanobu Fukuoka farming. He's a Japanese man. You should know this lady also. She initiated the environmental movement. She wrote a famous book, Silent Spring. In this book, she is describing about the bad effects of DDT. And she died because of cancer in 1964. Rachel Carson. You have to take mushrooms. This is a nutritious food which is better than fish and meat. You should not take colas in this type of bottles. All colas, there is no value, only sugar and some acid. It will destroy your health. In this colas, they are using a chemical. There is in the plastic bottle, there is a chemical called bisphenol A and some phthalates. These are hormone disruptors. This will leach into the drinks, cola, and when it reaches our body, hormone disruption will take place. So kindly avoid taking colas that is harmful to your health. Then about water conservation. Harvest the rainwater from the rooftop. Encourage people to harvest rainwater from their rooftops and make rain pits on the land for water recharge. Avoid the leakage of water taps. Propagate a plant, vetiver, which will enhance good water recharge and avoid soil erosion. This is a plant called vetiver. Its native place is Tamil Nadu, but Tamil Nadu people are not using that plant. Around 15 countries are using for recharge of groundwater, stabilize river banks and roads, reduce global warming, prevent soil erosion, reduce coliform bacteria in water, purify contaminated water. So you have to use this plant. CSI Synod, Department of Ecological Concerns, is propagating this plant. This is a vetiver. In Malayalam, it is known as Namacham. One of the advantage of planting this vetiver on the banks of the road, on the side of the road, there is no need to construct any wall, concrete walls or rubble walls, because these plants have a life of 60 years. Its roots are 3 meters long, so it will act as a good wall, retaining wall. So instead of spending money for retaining walls, plant this vetiver, which will help for 60 years. This is a vetiver plant. The roots are 3 meters long. Rainwater harvesting piece in the church compound and harvest rainwater. We suggest wells 10 feet depth and 6 feet diameter. When I was the principal of the college, we were harvesting water of the rooftops through PVC pipes, and there were 2 small wells, and we stored water in these 2 small wells near the main well. So during the time of summer, because of this rainwater harvesting, we got water from the main well. Do not use the throwaway plastic. It is dangerous. Avoid throwaway plastic in all your functions. Do not burn plastic materials. It is producing a chemical called dioxin, which is highly dangerous, cancer-causing. Plant a sapling in the church and school campus during important functions. Also plant a sapling commemorating the visit of important personalities. After wedding services, the newly wedded couple shall be encouraged to plant together a sapling. Saplings could also be planted in memory of a member who died. Encourage planting of fruit-bearing plants in public places, which will be used by other creatures of that area. CSI has been promoting biodiversity. Our slogan is plant fruit-bearing plants outside your boundaries and nurture it, highlighting our spirituality of caring for all. Ensure that the saplings planted are watered and manured well. This is a photograph from Coimbatore, where I visited. We planted a sapling there. For waste management, our slogan is reduce, reuse, recycle, refuse waste. Reduce waste as far as possible. Reuse waste by composting. Reuse waste coming from refuse waste coming from corporate lobbies, especially from USA. Do not receive second-hand equipments coming from developed countries or corporate lobbies. We are converting plastic bags into grow bags. We are converting waste into fertilizer using this. This is a photograph we have taken from Coimbatore. Waste. This is a worm used to convert waste into fertilizer. Farming. Do not use any kind of chemical pesticides in the campus. Encourage and honor students who are doing farming. Encourage people to vegetable gardens and give awareness about farming methods using grow bags and also on the land. Promote beekeeping in the farms for facilitating better cross-pollination and better source of income. This is called champion screen. The 10 most important words are, I won't wait for others to take the first step. So you need not wait for others. You have to start first. When I say, who will do the opening prayer? Nobody. That is a bad habit. You have to offer yourself first. If it is up to me, if it is to be, it is up to me. I will do it. If not me, who? If not now, when? You should do it immediately. Let me take a shot at it. You do it. I will not pass the buck. You have to say, you have to take the responsibility of that. The 5 most important words. You can count on me. You can rely on me. You have the 4 most important words. It is my job. It is not others' job. I will take up and do the job. The three most important words are just do it. The two important words are I will. The most important word is me. This is a very important for teachers and students. 50 years from now, no one will remember what type of ornaments you wore, which bungalow you stayed, which car you drove, which club you went to. All that matters will be those positive changes you made in the lives of the people. I am repeating again. 50 years from now, no one will remember what type of ornaments you wore, which bungalow you stayed, which car you drove, which club you went to. All that matters will be those positive changes you made in the lives of the people. Some people bring happiness wherever they go. Some people bring happiness whenever they go. This is a very important quotation. Some people bring happiness wherever they go. You should be like that people. Wherever you go, you should bring happiness and make others happy. When you die, people should not say, that man already left, thank God. People should not say like that. Some people bring happiness whenever they go from this world, or whenever they go from the office, the others will be happier. You should not be of the second type, you should be of the first type. This is the philosophy of life. 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 6 to 9. But godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into the world, and we can take nothing of it. But we have food and clothing. We will be content with that. Another verse from the Bible, Philippians chapter 4, verse 12. I have learned the secret, so that anywhere at any time I am content, whether I am full or hungry, whether I have too much or too little. These two biblical verses are the philosophy and secret of life. Thank you very much.